the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners. It's Ed Fox with another amazing episode and another amazing guest here on Nashville 2. Nashville 2 is where we tell your story. If you're a business owner, a nonprofit, or somebody that needs to be recognized in the Nashville market, or you know of somebody, please have them reach out to us, and we would love to have them on the show. So today's episode is sponsored by Trade Bank of Nashville. Trade Bank of Nashville is a business-to-business barter exchange that allows you as a business owner to trade the things you have to get the things you want or need without spending cash. That's pretty cool. Like imagine being able to trade some of your wholesale cost for things that you need without paying a bunch of retail cash profits to somebody else. So it brings a business network together that's about 4,500 members strong here in Southeast United States. And in Wichita, in Nashville, you know, that's the trouble from living in Wichita for 30 years. In Nashville, we have about 400 members. And I also have one up in Wichita with about 350 members. But what makes this amazing today is I have a good friend, Leslie McCain, who is the owner of Alegra Printing in Brentwood. Is it Brentwood? Is that the right designation?
Yep.
Okay.
It is Brentwood, Tennessee. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. And Leslie is here with us today to talk a little bit about her business and what she likes to do in the Nashville area. Let me get rid of these other distractions on the other screen. There we go. So welcome, Leslie. Thanks for agreeing to be on the show.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. This is super, super fun. I always love when you and I get to visit and chat.
That's right. And, I know you're also, aren't you heading Networking Today International group down in Murfreesboro?
I am. Thank you. We'd love for anybody that's out in Murfreesboro to come and visit us. We are every Friday morning at the Bell and Alexander title office there in Murfreesboro. We start at 7:30. And so we give you an opportunity to share your business with other like-minded business owners.
7:30 and it runs till about 9, right?
Yeah, we're there till usually about 9.
Okay, cool. I am a big fan of NTI and the other networking groups around like it, and you and I are involved in a few. And not to mention Chambers and Alignable or other ways. We should do a whole episode on ways, you and I are both big networkers, on ways networking has changed our business. But we'll get into that another time. Today, it's your story. So let's tell your story. So Leslie, are you born and raised Nashvilleian?
I am not. So I'm a Texas transplant. We've been here for about 2 years, but I was born and raised in a small town down there in Texas. And when this business became available, not quite 2 years ago, we actually moved our entire family up here to do this.
What small town in Texas?
So it's called Batson. If you find it on a map, you probably blinked when you passed by it. We have a grand total of a blinking 4-way stop. And so there were 42 people in my graduating class.
Wow. Yep. I've got some towns like that I grew up in or spent time in Australia. It's like, where did I go? Coots Crossing was a place just outside of Grafton that we lived for a couple of years. And it was one of those combined school rooms. So like, kindergarten through 5th was in one room, and then 6th through 9th was in another room, and then 10, 11, and 12 went into town on a bus. So, yeah, and they know me. So, like, you go down the grocery store and you do something wrong, and they call up mum and dad and say, your kid's down here making a fool of themselves. So I totally get what you're talking about. So, okay, so what brought you to the Nashville Metro?
So we actually decided right at 2 years ago that we were ready to become business owners. And so I have a background degree in marketing, did it for over 20 years, spent 7 years running a freelance digital marketing agency. So we always knew we wanted to retire here in Middle Tennessee. When we would drop our daughter off at the University of Kentucky, we would take little jaunts back through Tennessee, looking through that town that we wanted to retire in. And so when we decided to move and buy a business, this is where we wanted to be. So I put a Google alert out for marketing businesses for sale in Middle Tennessee. And, one thing led to another. In May of 2021, we officially took over. And so we've had a blast ever since.
Awesome. Yeah. And we're similar, right? So I bought Trade Bank of Nashville in July of 2020. and struggled with my wife's work to get us moved down here until December of 2021. Trying to run a business remotely is just difficult, but got here in December and have been loving it ever since. So tell me a little bit about what you do and how your business can help not only consumers, but business owners as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So we have a saying over here. I like to say, if you can put your name on it, I can put my hands on it. So we are here to support businesses large and small with any kind of print, digital media, any promotional products that you want to use to leverage growth and drop off to any potential business owners or prospects that you're looking for, all the way up to wrapping your vehicle, handling any kind of marketing campaigns. And so, we're just here to support and be a part of the community. We are here to support businesses large and small. So we have a 0 order minimum policy. If you feel like you've kind of been neglected by some other folks because your order wasn't as large as others, we are here to support you. We are a small business here to support small businesses. We also like to work with your nonprofits that are near and dear to you. When we are the printer for a nonprofit, we actually have a donation calendar. So every month we donate or sponsor an event for one nonprofit here in Middle Tennessee. So we're definitely an active member of the community and, want to support those that are here championing causes.
All right. That is awesome. And so what are some of the fun things that you've done since you bought the business?
Oh gosh, so we get to do all kinds of things. So we actually developed an apparel line for someone that I know. And so we brought her vision to life and we handle all of the shipping and things that go with that. We have worked with a baker here in Middle Tennessee to do and develop her own acrylic cake topper line. We've been a part of numerous appeals for nonprofits. So we help get all of their letters and things out when they're soliciting donations to help fund their programs. And so oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many pens and cups and things we put people's name on. And so we've definitely had a big time.
Awesome. And I could imagine there'd be stories. I think some people think they have to go to their printer or their marketing company and they have to have all the ideas fully formed and everything like that. But I've gone to printers back in the day where I scratched it out on a napkin sitting at a restaurant and going, hey, can you do something like this? Like, can you do this logo? And, I want 2 cricket bats crossed and I'm starting a cricket team and I want, and it's got to be cool. And the person didn't know anything about cricket, but what came back blew me away, right? So I'm sure you've had that happen to you, right? They're like, oh, I want a thingamajig for the what's a who's it.
Absolutely. So we actually have 2 graphic designers on staff. So I tell people, bring me all your chicken scratch and we will take your chicken scratch and bring it to life. And so they're super duper talented. We've developed some logos for new business owners as they launched and got ready to go. And so, yes, we are a big fan of bring me all your napkins and your chicken scratch. And then, we do have a facility set up with some previous work we've done that folks are welcome to come take a tour and see all of the things that we have done or are capable of doing, because a lot of times that will spark, oh, you know what, that would be a great idea to go with XYZ campaign.
Right.
So I really nerd out when we talk about marketing. And so I love for people to come and let me talk about marketing with them.
Well, I'd be hanging out there all day because you and I are like that. It's like, oh, this idea and that idea. When I was going to schools and teaching cricket for the PE teachers that maybe they knew of cricket because it's the second biggest sport in the world, but they didn't know cricket. Yeah. I made these little cricket bat plastic keychains and they said, oh, we can't accept gifts. I said, it's my business card. It's just my business card. It's printed on a cricket bat keychain. And that was through one of my marketing friends. I said, is this doable? Like, can we find a place to do this? It's all doable if you have the vision and you can get it translated to somebody like you so that they can fill it out. It's amazing what you guys can do. And I've seen some of your work. It is fantastic. So I was excited to have you on the show because everybody needs a printer, right? And a lot of them go online, which they could do for you too, right? They can go online and order online and do that sort of stuff. And I've seen your prices. Your prices are comparable to everybody else, but your quality is like 10 times as good. So that's my little plug for you.
Oh, well, we definitely appreciate that. And, we pride ourselves on taking good care of folks because, you can go online and there are great online platforms, but the one thing they're not going to walk you through is what is your end vision and what do you intend to use this for? Because there are times that, through that conversation with people, we've had to shift what their idea was or what medium they were going to put their idea on because it just wasn't going to work. And I mean, that's, one of the things about having a great local printer, or, I like to say I'm the person that they call when they're like, oh crap, that was supposed to be here tomorrow and I forgot to order it. And so, we welcome all the fire drills and all the things because we want to make sure you're taken care of.
Right. And so a cool thing that I've seen like that is I had a friend that was so excited he got a coupon to order business cards online. So he went on to an online designer, designed them, printed them, and was so excited to get them because he got them for virtually nothing. Well, on his screen, when he had used his big full screen to figure out his business card, and he didn't realize he was using a 8-point font. And don't get me started on fonts. I got a dad joke for you. 2 fonts walk into the bar and the bartender says, "Sir, we don't serve your type in here."
Oh,
yeah,
I do love a good dad joke.
Yeah, so I'm a big font fan. I love talking about Helvetica, just for the Helvetica of it. I love talking about fonts. So anyway, so he'd done like a 8.8 font or whatever, 8-point font is what it is. And so when he got the business cards and it was a senior living center, well, if you got a person that probably doesn't have the best eyesight to start with, I mean, if you're handing out business cards to 15 and 18-year-olds, yeah, you could probably put it in 6-point. But when you're handing them out to me, I need it to be in 12-point minimum, right? So things like that you can catch as a local printer before it ever goes to print.
Absolutely. We definitely, that's one of the things we talk about with folks is, what's your target audience, who's going to receive this. And I mean, there are things like that to be considered, or, the other thing that we've seen is all the pretty fancy fonts are great, but if you can't read them when you put them all together, then there was no point in doing what you've done. So we kind of try to steer folks in that direction as well. As lovely as your cursive calligraphy is, if I can't read it, neither can whoever you're trying to get your message to.
Sorry, I had to cough off air there. Yes. Are you, well, how do I ask this? Are you one of those people that driving down the road looks at billboards or signage or marketing and go, no, not a good idea?
Yes.
So I was driving by
a Facebook group that calls people out for that. So yes.
Right. That's me too. We were driving down the road. Where were we going? Oh, coming back from Atlanta this last weekend. We had a conference in Atlanta last week, and there was this sign that used a font, but they were a really serious company, like a funeral director or a funeral home, and they used like a bobble font, right? Like a very rounded. Yeah, not really.
Nope.
I'm
not funeral appropriate.
Not funeral appropriate, and it's like those people that use Comic Sans too much, or there's certain fonts that should be banned. Okay, see what I've done? I've taken us down the font road. I'll pull it back. I'll put the mic up a little bit and get it out of the picture. But yeah, it's funny to me that people don't recognize. I had this one brochure that a friend wanted help with, and he had 17 different fonts in an 8.5 by 11.
Oh, like my mind is just now going, and my eyes are like, I don't even know where to turn because we have 15 different options to look at.
Right. Yeah. So this is a thing where people don't realize that, we could go to some of the great online platforms and you might get a great price, but you have absolutely no help. I mean, they're good at even refunding if they screw up, like if they cut it wrong or something like that, but they're not really good at solving what you're thinking in your head that you didn't get down on paper. Whereas having a local printer that you can build a relationship with, and everybody that, not just like you said, if it'll sit still long enough, you can probably print it. But you've also got all these other things that you can do. So building that long-term relationship that I can come to you again and again and again and saying, hey, can we keep this consistent and on brand? because
Yeah.
most small business owners don't realize how important trade dress is, right? How important it is to keep things the same. If you have a black and white font and you change to a black and white logo and you change to a color logo, do the colors help your brand or do they hurt your brand? Well, talking to somebody like you that can explain what different colors mean and how people react to them. That's why you go into restaurants, there's a lot of red. It makes you eat more, right? I mean, it's very simple. So what else do we need to know about Alegra printing?
Well, just, we're here. We are, again, you've touched on it a couple of times that, you and I do a lot of networking together. So we are your referral partner. We love to introduce people to ways that they can help develop and grow their business. And so if that's introducing them to someone in our network, we're more than happy to do that as well. But, again, back to your point about a local printer, it really does kind of give you an advantage or an edge in that. We had some folks that we worked with that had an event and they sent all the files and we printed for their event. They came at 5 o'clock and picked it up and kind of had a puzzled look on their face. And they're like, wait, something's missing. And so we went back and looked and I'm like, no, sir, all the files you sent me were printed. This is the description you gave us. They realized they had not sent half of the things needed for their event for the next morning at 6 a.m. And so, when that arrives from a big online printer, there's not a lot you can do. For us, because we are, a locally owned family business, my husband and I were here till 8 o'clock that night, making sure that everything was done.
Wow.
And met them at 6 o'clock the next morning so that everything went up for their event. And, none of their sponsors were the wiser that some of their logos almost didn't make it there.
Right. Right. And that's great that you can help them and recover from that sort of thing. So, okay, let me ask you for your first hidden gem. So when you're not working, when you're not helping a bunch of business and nonprofit clients, what do you guys like to do?
Okay, so we are big NASCAR folks.
Okay.
Huge. We go to one new track a year. So we definitely were at Nashville this year. We will be back again next year. And so that, for us is super duper fun. We're also big national parks folks. So all of the different trails and parks that are around here in Nashville, we love to go and explore. We do a lot there at the park in Murfreesboro. We live in Murfreesboro. And so they have this great bike trail that you can go down, as well as, a platform to walk on, so a place for your kayak to go in the water. And so those for us are kind of our good go-tos. And then, I like to eat. I will tell you that I like to eat.
We'll get to that one, folks. Stay tuned. We'll get to that one in a minute. So, and Leslie's going to shoot me an email with this information so you know where to check out the hiking trails, the kayaking, and the fun things to do. And more about NASCAR. I've got to learn about NASCAR. I like things that go fast.
Oh, yeah.
Fast cars and fast women. Is that the way that goes? I've been married to the most wonderful wife in the world for 32 years. So we can joke around with each other a lot. It's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
She harassed me about something last. She found this place that she can get her favorite French fries, and my sister sent some chicken salt from Australia. And chicken salt is something that at all the fish and chip shops you can ask for regular salt or chicken salt, which is like a mixture of herbs and spices, and it's sort of got like a chicken bouillon cube type seasoning. And so we were sprinkling that on, and I took it and the lid came off and it all went there, and I just started eating. She's like, aren't you going to tip off all that extra seasoning? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just like, she's like, well, what am I going to use tomorrow? I'm like, okay, fine. So I had to tip off all the extra, and she's like, you're something else, but we like having fun with each other. I know that wasn't a very funny story, but it was to us at the situation, where you're going like that. I'd had that happen with chili powder one time where the lid came off and the chili powder went everywhere and then up my nose, and I'm coughing, my eyes are watering, and she's laughing so hard she's rolling on the floor because I'm in distress. That's the things that spouses do.
Yes, we will celebrate 23 years next week. So yes, those are the things that we do to one another. And so we're definitely in the same boat.
How many kids do you guys have?
So we have twins that will also be 23 this year. My daughter graduated from the University of Kentucky, so go Cats. And my son moved up here with us and is currently working for Ingram Industries.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. So what's some good tips for people that never know how to get something printed, reach out to somebody, what they need to provide? Do you have any tips when people are trying to come up with ideas for promotional products or anything like that? I know you did a great thing that I was listening to with you when you presented at your B&I group the other day. No, it wasn't was it B&I? Or was it another networking group? Anyway,
NTI. It was NTI.
It was NTI. Okay, so you presented at NTI and you talked about some marketing tips. We've got a couple of minutes. What's some cool tips you can give people, whether it be nonprofit business owners or consumers, about marketing?
So really think about a couple of things. Number one, if you're going to do something like a promotional item, make it something that's useful, that people are going to use. We do a lot with trades people where that, like a ruler or a level or, things like that people will use in their everyday life because they're less likely to just toss it aside. And people remember and keep promotional items typically for like 8 months, which means that your name is in front of them. See, so
the carpenter's pencil.
The carpenter's pencil. Those are amazing.
Yeah, I grew up. My dad was a carpenter, so we use them all the time. But I like to have them around because they don't break like the mechanical pencils and stuff. And so I use it. Yeah, so you're exactly right. It's something that I see all the time, as opposed to that 432nd koozie that I think went in the trash when I came home.
Absolutely. So yeah, doing things like that are useful and memorable. If you're looking to stand out, I always tell folks, anytime you're going to do a mailing, all of my mailings go out in a red envelope because our colors are red and black. And so if you have a sea of white envelopes, which one are you going to open first? You're going to open my red one and you're going to remember what was inside. So thinking about those things that can tie back to your brand, but that are also going to make you stand out. And so those are really the two things with marketing that are going to get you the farthest.
Okay. And this is a visual one. So for those of you listening to the podcast, check out our YouTube channel. Nashville2.com will take you straight to the YouTube channel at this point when I'm recording this in October of 2022. But this is my favorite of all time to work with big accounts that I want to get. And so I buy these, they're a transparent plastic foot, and you can buy them on Amazon. I'm sure there's other places as well. And they're used to show off shoes and different things, right? Like toe rings and different things. And I like to take this transparent shoe, this transparent foot, plastic transparent foot, and put it inside a box with peanuts, a box of, shipping peanuts, just a little box. And then I like to include a letter that says, hey, I want to be totally transparent. I'm just trying to get a meeting with you. I want to get a foot in the door. And then I color in the toenail and I say, did I nail it? I've used it 3 times and I've got the meeting each time. Now, did I close the business each time? No. But it's something that over 20 years, I've had 3 big accounts. One was Walgreens, and I got that business. My wife worked for them, and I couldn't get an appointment. Even though she worked for them, I couldn't get an appointment with the person I needed to. And when I sent them this, I got the appointment, got the business. And that was probably worth 30 grand worth of revenue to me over a couple of years. So pretty decent size for me anyway. And then the other 2 were big restaurant chains. I didn't get anywhere with them, but I got an email back saying, oh, we had a great laugh in the office and we're going to use that for our guys. But at this time, we're not interested in what you're offering, but we wanted to let you know. So that's one of my favorite tools. You got to think outside the box sometimes, right? And so you really have to be different while being authentically you. And I think that's something that you've spoken about too, is you can help people stick to brand, just like we were saying with the fonts, with the funeral director. You don't want to pick the wrong font for your logo. And sometimes we like a certain thing, but it doesn't really portray our business in a way that's a positive thing. And the same with promotional products. For me, I use little trade bank notepads.
Yes. See, I love a notepad.
Right. And these things stick around for years and years and years. And then when I drop them off or I send them to people, I've got my picture on the corner of this one. And I say, hey, look, beards and mustaches are okay, but no horns. Halos work perfectly because I'm used to that. And, I get a laugh, right? And so, and then if they're sitting there doodling one day, they'll put horns or whatever. And it's got my cell number right on it. So then they text me a picture and they just say, something like, and I don't even know who it's coming from. But I'm staying top of mind, right?
Absolutely.
So cost effective. They use them every day. And then if they ever want to give people my details, it's like they've got my business cards sitting on their desk. They just rip off a page and say, hey, you should talk to Ed. He knows about that stuff. So that's my tip. And then I love I don't know if I have any here. Do I have any? The tri-stick pens from Bic. The ones that are triangular, because you got three times the space. And the nice thing about a big pen is it always works.
It does always work, and people do love a pen that's different. And and it's nice to have a lot of space because that means you're going to get a lot of information on there that's going to be legible.
Right. Yeah, I saw a fun one the other day. They pull out and it gives you a little flyer that you can pull out of the pen, like a retractable, which is pretty cool. But again, you're out of sight, out of mind. So they actually have to pull it out. What I think we need a special Ed bubble. What do they call those? A bubble head.
Yeah.
With a base that you can push a button and it plays a dad joke. So
we will work on that for you.
He'll be an American flag shirt, an Aussie hat, and he'll bobblehead, and then you can press the button and he says, "G'day." And then he says a dad joke. I need like 5,000 of those, but we've got to find them cheap enough. Probably have to go to China, but you could probably help with that.
I will help you that. New products coming soon, Ed.
That's great. Okay, so you said earlier that you like to eat. You're down in Murfreesboro. I have it on good authority that the Steak and Shake down there has some of the best milkshakes. David Wild.
I do know him. Yes, he's so great. Yes, Steak and Shake. I do love a good Steak and Shake. The end of the day, we definitely love that. And I mean, they do some great work down there and do a lot of giving back to the teachers in the community. So we do love to support businesses that support our teachers. He's
an amazing guy. Okay, so where else do you eat? If I'm coming to Murfreesboro, do you have a favorite ethnicity food or a favorite type of food that you like to eat? And is there a great place in Murfreesboro to do that?
I've yet to find my signature Mexican restaurant, which as a girl from Texas, that's what I'm looking for. But I will tell you that my daughter and I ate at the Red Bicycle and it was so good. So it's like crepes and breakfast and chicken and waffles. And it's right there off St. Andrews Drive. And it was the best breakfast I've had in forever.
I am partial to a good breakfast. Okay, so I could come down on a Friday morning. I could do the NTI networking group. And then I could go to that. Tell me again, what's the name of it?
It's the Red Bicycle.
Okay, it's the Red Bicycle. Oh, and I got bicycle dad jokes for days so I could keep them entertained.
There you go.
Yeah, why couldn't the bicycle stand? It was too tired. Right?
Oh my God. I do love a good dad joke. I hear you every Friday morning on our virtual networking. So I do love a good joke.
That's right. Okay, so is there a place outside of Murfreesboro that you like to eat?
Well, I mean, they're kind of after my own heart that they're starting to have Whataburgers here. So that's a Texas thing. And so your girl loves a good Whataburger. And so
I'm right there with you, except for without the jalapenos. But the thing I love best about Whataburger is their ketchup. They've got some cocaine in there or something. It's super addictive.
It's so good. And you can order that online.
Oh, really?
We have Whataburger ketchup at our house.
Okay.
And so you go online and you order the Whataburger ketchup.
Whataburger fancy ketchup.
It's Whataburger fancy ketchup, and it comes in the Whataburger label, and it's in my fridge right now.
Right. Yeah. So living in Wichita, Kansas for 30 years, I had business in Dallas, and I would drive to Dallas once a week. And then they got and then when I stopped, I sold the business in Dallas. They put a Whataburger in Tulsa.
Fine.
And I would drive down to Tulsa on the weekends to play cricket, and my friends are all Indian and Pakistani that play cricket with me, and most of them don't eat beef, right? Like the Indians don't eat beef. A lot of them were vegetarians, and then a few others ate chicken. So they would order something for chicken. And my Pakistani friends are there like, well, if it's not halal, we can't eat it. I said, well, the buns are halal. They're like, the buns aren't halal. I said, whatever, have a salad, go. But I would always want to stop at Whataburger for a burger and fries on the way home. And they're like, dude, what is the thing with this Whataburger? I said, okay, you can have the fries and the ketchup, and then once you have those, you'll be addicted to Whataburgers. So I always thought, Alice and I always talked about buying Whataburger franchises.
Yes.
My mouth's watering right now.
And the cups are amazing, and it holds my ice forever, so it makes me happy.
Right. Well, Alice thinks that of Sonic. So she's a big fan of Sonic. You know, if you get the Sonic app, you can get half-price drinks 24/7, right? Whenever they're open. Instead of just going to happy hour. And so she'll be coming home from work. She's a Kroger pharmacy manager, and she'll be coming home from work, and she'll text me. She'll say, hey, I just got off work. It's 8:30. I can go buy Sonic and that drink lasts us the rest of the night, right? A Route 44 Diet Dr. Pepper. And she likes the little ice in Sonic. So we all have these little quirks, right?
We all do. Like.
Yeah. So where you grew up, did Quick Trip come to your area before you left? The QT?
No,
Okay.
we've not. No, so those were mostly like we had like Shell, Valero. Now we'll tell you that Bucky's was there.
Oh wow. So
we love a Bucky's.
Once you've been to a Bucky's, it sets the standard so high. I was thinking, you know, I used to read these zombie novels, right? I was on I still am, but I'm playing games on my phone these days instead of reading. Probably not the best, but all these zombie novels, right? And they pick different places. Like one time was a cool novel. They boarded up a Home Depot, you know, because it had well, I've been to a Menards. A Menards has everything. You can live at a Menards for months. Well, Bucky's is the same. Like, if you're protecting, you know, if you're trying to escape from the zombies, you live on the roof and you board up the front of a Bucky's, man, you can eat there for months and months and months. And, you know, the food probably never goes bad because it's got all that processing. You can eat pork rinds. I mean, aisles of just pork rinds, aisles of clothes, aisles of, you name it at a Bucky's. It's like a Walmart for your car.
Oh yeah, beaver nuggets, all the things. We went to the one in Crossville when we were on our way somewhere, and I was like, oh, this is a lot of people. We didn't think about it being Labor Day weekend, so it's Labor Day weekend in the Bucky's, and I'm like, oh, this is a lot.
Yeah, Bucky's is a lot. So I've told my family back home, and I've got one of my nieces is coming to visit for a couple of months at Christmas, and so she's got a Bucky's on her list as her Bucky bucket list is what she's calling it, because Bucky's is at the top of the list. And then I was telling her about custard. Well, custard to us is a hot pudding that you put over like fruitcake and stuff. Like a hot custard. And she's like, frozen custard? Like, how does that taste? I said, well, it's really just creamier ice cream, you know. And then some people will go like, oh, it's not. It's so much more, you know. But I went to a Culver's the other night. I tell you what, as a guy that grew up on fish and chips, Captain D's is pretty good. For those
I love Captain D's.
Yeah, I love the catfish at Captain D's. And in my neck of the woods that I lived in Kansas, they have Long John Silver's, which is equivalent to Captain D's. But Culver's battered cod plate, if you like fish and chips, it is the best fish and chips I have had outside of England and Australia. Just amazing. And then, of course, the custards to die for as well. I had a strawberry shake with Snickers in it the other night. Probably shouldn't have done that as a diabetic, but it was delish. It was delicious. You know, my wife's like, what's it going to be? It's going to be a sip of the shake and then the insulin pen. Sip of the shake, insulin pen.
You had a strategy. You were fine.
That's right. And my blood sugar, she's like, okay, that's the last time you're doing that. I'm like, oh, I feel terrible. I'm going to bed. She's like, why do you self-inflict? I'm like, we all self-inflict, you know. Sugar should be outlawed. Forget guns. Like, let us have all the guns in the world we want. They should outlaw sugar.
Wait, you're taking away my Diet Mountain Dew. We can't be doing that.
Oh, no, you can have Diet Mountain Dew.
Okay, I can have the diet.
Yeah,
okay,
we just ban like high fructose corn syrup. Should just be banned. Should just be banned. They've made it anyway, folks. This has been a fun session, and Leslie and I are just chatting as we are wont to do. But if you need a printer, and you are within listening distance of this podcast or watching us on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or all the other video platforms that might come and go over the next 50 years, if this video lasts this long, see if Alegra Printing, and is it Alegra Printing Brentwood, or is it Alegra Printing and Marketing? How is the best way to say that?
Alegra Printing and Mail in Brentwood.
Alegra Printing and Mail. I knew there was an M in there somewhere and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So Alegra Printing and Mail. So you do like direct mail campaigns and that
Absolutely.
sort of stuff.
Any kind of direct mail. We can help you find your audience. If you have your audience and you want to bring the list to us, we can send it to there. So we've got lots of different ways we can help you with mail and marketing your business.
So could we make a big, like a die cut postcard with a dad joke on the back that I could mail to all the businesses?
Yes, you could. You're going to pay a lot of postage for that, but I'd be happy to help you.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we just make a square postcard with a picture of Ed, or a rectangular postcard. But, what about a big, what are those like they have at the movie theater of the cutouts of the Minions and the different things? Could we do we do a special Ed cutout?
We can do a special Ed cutout. We'd love to help you with it.
You know what? I could take it to all my networking groups and go, you know what? 2 Eds are better than 1.
That's it. 2 Eds are better than 1, and you could register your Ed as a guest.
Now you're talking. I don't think B and I would let me get away with that, but maybe.
Probably not. But
Maybe
we can try.
Yeah, we can have fun. Oh, like I can play dumb. I can play dumb really well. So, Hey, Leslie, thanks for being on the show. What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
So phone number is 615-373-5145, or you can find us on Facebook at Alegra Printing and Mail Brentwood.
There you go, folks. And I can highly recommend Leslie and her crew. I've only actually met Leslie, but I know this crew because she's at every networking event I've ever been to, it seems like, and then some. So I've got some catching up to do, but they do great work. And I've seen some of the stuff she's dropped off and what people have spoken about, and it has been amazing. So definitely check out Alegra Printing and Mail Brentwood. Oh, yep. Man, I got it finally. Hey, thanks a lot, Leslie.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
This is the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.